We're plunging into some truly fascinating, maybe even bewildering territory today.
Absolutely. We're looking at dreams, but not just any dreams.
Exactly. We're exploring this pretty mind-bending idea. What if dreams are more than just, your brain sorting things out overnight? What if a dream could actually be a glimpse, a real peek into a past life, maybe? Or even a future that hasn't happened yet?
It sounds like science fiction, but that's the extraordinary premise we're unpacking. Waking up with this feeling, this memory of a time or place you've never consciously been.
Yeah.
And we've got 3 really incredible accounts. First-hand stories from people who believe their dream visions were exactly the actual glimpses into other times.
And these aren't just fuzzy recollections. For these individuals, these experiences were life-changing. We'll hear their stories directly from them in their own words.
Right.
So our mission here is to explore these astonishing narratives. Then we'll try to connect them to the work of Max Westerly.
He has this fascinating perspective on something he calls mental time travel, which might just offer a way to understand experiences like these.
Kind of a shortcut, maybe, to grasping what it means when time seems to, bend while we're asleep.
Yeah.
So let's dive in.
Okay.
Start with Linda. She's a 44-year-old suburban mom, and she says she normally forgets her dreams almost instantly. But this one, it was different. She said it branded itself onto her. Apparently, she hasn't even told her husband, worried he'd think she reads too much weird sci-fi.
Understandable, maybe. It sounds pretty out there.
It does. But she shared it with us for this deep dive. So here's Linda's account. I don't usually dream, or if I do, I forget them the moment I wake up. But this dream didn't just stick. It branded itself into me, like something from another life or another future. I haven't told anyone about it, not even my husband. He already thinks I read too many weird sci-fi books. Anyway, here it is. I was standing in this absolute pristine world. No litter, no grime. Everything clean, quiet, gentle. Even the air was soft. You could smell the ocean from any point on Earth. Birds were everywhere, unafraid. And people. They weren't rushing or shouting into phones or dragging screaming toddlers through Target. Everyone looked free. That was the first thing I noticed. Freedom. See, in this future 22nd century, I think, we didn't have jobs like we do. AI handled it all, like everything. Groceries, delivered before you even realized you were low. Dishes, gone. Childcare, personalized and nurturing. Illnesses, prevented before symptoms even showed. AI did just automate labor. It curated life, down to a rhythm that felt tailored to every individual. Everyone had the time and resources to follow their passions. Painters painted, philosophers debated, musicians composed music in open gardens where kids played beside koi ponds. Nobody was rich or poor, just alive, expressive, human. And I was me, but not me. Younger, wiser. My hands were covered in blue paint, and I was sculpting something in the middle of a public square made of translucent stone. I was smiling in a way I hadn't in years, but then it changed. One morning, the sky went silent. I don't mean quiet, I mean silent. No birds, no wind. Even the hum of distant city drones just stopped. We all looked up. A black shadow had sliced across the blue sky, too wide to comprehend. It didn't roar or flash, it just arrived. 1 second it wasn't there, the next it was. A ship. Enormous. Geometric, but wrong somehow, like it was grown, not built. It pulsed like a heart. We didn't even need words. Every one of us knew it wasn't human. Then came the voice. No mouth, no translator. Just truth beamed into our heads. We are the Pathfinders. We do not come to conquer. We come to warn. There is a hunger approaching, a silence that consumes suns. We fought it once. We lost. It is drawn to minds that shine too brightly, to civilizations that create. You must dim yourselves, or be found. I remember the feeling in my gut, like I had just been told to bury my own children so the wolves wouldn't smell them. The world panicked, museums closed, art schools dissolved, poets stopped writing, entire orchestras burned their scores. It was like someone had poisoned the soul of the planet. But here's where it got weird. In the dream, weeks passed. I watched as joy drained from people's faces, and I kept thinking, is this the choice? Hide our light or die for it? Then one night, I returned to that square, and I saw myself, or a version of me, still sculpting. Only this time the sculpture was alive, breathing, and whispering. It looked at me with my own face and said, you are the beacon, that's why you were shown this. But the warning, it wasn't for Earth. I blinked, and the sky cracked, and I woke up. Sweaty, heart-pounding, pillows soaked. My hands hurt like I'd been gripping stone all night. My husband was still snoring. Everything normal, but not normal. And get this, that morning, my daughter showed me a drawing she made in her sleep. I dreamt this, she said. It told me to keep making things, even if I'm scared. The drawing, it was the ship, the same exact one. So now I don't know if it was just a dream, or a memory, Or maybe a warning sent to the wrong century. But here's what I do know. I bought a new set of paints, and I've been sculpting again, in the garage, even if no one buys a thing. Because maybe, just maybe, creating is the only way to fight the silent.
Wow. That contrast she paints from this AI-driven utopia where everyone's creative and free
Yeah, sounds amazing.
to suddenly facing this cosmic threat that tells them to, well, dim themselves, stop creating. It really shifts everything, doesn't it? It poses this huge philosophical question.
Right. Is our creativity, our expression, actually a danger on a cosmic scale?
Exactly. Are we a beacon or are we just making noise that attracts something else?
And that conflict inside her, hide our light or die for it.
Ooh!
It's so visceral. You feel it when she describes the arc disappearing, the joy draining away in the dream.
Mm-hmm. But then that twist, the sculpture, her own creation speaking.
Telling her she's the beacon. And maybe the most baffling part, the warning, wasn't for Earth.
Which just opens up more questions, right? If not for Earth, then who? And why show Linda specifically in our time?
It's incredibly strange. And the effects when she woke up. The physical sensations, the soaked pillow.
Yeah, not just a vague dream feeling, but the daughter's drawing. That's the part that's really uncanny.
The exact ship. With a similar message about creating even when scared.
It's astonishing synchronicity. Like the message somehow leaked out or found another way through. It's hard to dismiss that.
Absolutely. And it leads directly to her response, doesn't it? Buying paints, starting to sculpt again.
Her belief that creating is the only way to fight the silence. It feels like a direct answer, a powerful act of defiance born from this deeply profound experience.
It really suggests a personal calling, delivered in such an unexpected way. Okay, so from that possible future, let's shift gears.
Right.
Our next deep dive takes us way back. This is Kevin D., a 27-year-old long-haul truck driver from Tennessee. He says he spends his time on the road listening for words that don't exist yet, which is pretty evocative itself.
It really is, that certain tone.
His dream didn't show him the future, but the deep past. Here's Kevin's story. People think being on the road is lonely, and yeah, sometimes it is. Long stretches of blacktop, your headlights the only thing alive. But to be honest, I like it. It gives me space to think, or maybe to feel, I don't know. Most guys I drive with blast podcasts or country radio. Me, I listen to silence. Well, almost silence. I listen for words, ones that don't exist yet. I've been writing poems since I was 16, not that I tell anyone. But last month, somewhere between Flagstaff and Gallup, I had this dream, and I ain't been the same since. It started with heat, like real heat, dry, ancient, bone deep. I was barefoot, standing on clay that cracked like old paper under my feet. The sun was this molten eye in the sky, and everything was beige, sand, stone, skin. I wasn't Kevin in the dream, not exactly. I was a boy, young, skinny, probably 13. My hands were callous, dark with dust and ink. I wore linen wrap, and I was happy. I was a scribe in Sumeria, I think. There were no phones, no roads, no trucks, just temples and markets and the scent of sweet dates and fire-roasted lamb. But the words, they were everywhere, not spoken, written, cuneiform. On clay tablets I carved with a sharpened reed. The act of writing felt sacred, like each mark held a piece of the soul. People would line up to have me write their messages, prayers, trades, songs. I couldn't speak, not in the dream. I was mute. But when I pressed that reed into the clay, I could say everything. There was this older man, my teacher, eyes like foggy glass, white and distant. He'd say things to me with his hands, gestures full of grace. He called me Enlil's quill. I didn't know what that meant, but it made me feel proud, important. Then one day, he gave me a new assignment. A woman had come, rich, powerful, cloaked in silver threads. She whispered her message, and he wrote it down in his mind, then told me to carve it. I remember trembling as I worked. The symbols flowed out like water, except one of them. I didn't recognize it. It looked new, like it didn't belong to that time. He saw it too. He looked afraid. He tried to take the tablet from me, but I'd already pressed the reed in. Too deep. The clay cracked. The word I didn't know glowed like an ember. Suddenly, everything around me shattered. The city, the sky, the sun, all turned to ash. And that glowing word, it kept burning. It burned into the air, into my chest, into me, and I woke up, my hands were cramped, my tongue felt strange. Like I hadn't spoken in days. I tried to shake it off that something was wrong. Later that morning, while waiting on a tire replacement in Albuquerque, I pulled out my notebook and started scribbling. Not poems, just shapes. Weird symbols. One of them matched the one in the dream. I Googled it. Nothing came up exactly. But it resembled a Sumerian glyph. One used to mean life born from silence. I kept seeing it in my mind, carving it into napkins. On my hand with a pen, I felt like that mute boy was still somewhere in me, trying to finish a message he never got to deliver. The real twist. A few days ago, I stopped at a rest area in Arkansas. There was this elderly man just sitting on a bench, didn't look homeless, just quiet. He looked up at me and said, clear as day, "You still have the reed, you just forgot the clay." And then he smiled, tapped his notebook, and walked off. He shouldn't have known. No one should have. But somehow, he did. I've been writing again, not just poems. Something else. Stories that feel ancient, even though I've never heard them before. Like they're not coming from me, but through me. And I don't care if anyone reads them. That's not the point. The point is, some dreams aren't just dreams. Some are messages from lives we haven't lived yet, or ones we left behind.
The richness of detail in Kevin's dream is incredible. Being this mute scribe in ancient Sumeria, the feeling of the heat, the clay, the sacredness of carving cuneiform.
So that wedge-shaped writing, right?
Exactly. He wasn't just watching it like a movie. He was that boy. That connection feels so profound, almost spiritual, the way he describes the act of writing.
Mm-hmm. And that moment with the symbol, the one that felt new, like it didn't belong.
Yeah.
And his teacher's fear.
It suggests some kind of knowledge, maybe, that was anachronistic, something bleeding through time, perhaps.
And the ending. The whole world shattering, but that glowing word burning into him.
It's like this powerful, maybe even dangerous piece of information was being transferred directly to him. Almost too much for that ancient setting needing to emerge later.
And it did emerge. The cramped hands when he woke up, the weird feeling in his tongue, and then compulsively scribbling that symbol.
Finding out it resembled a Sumerian glyph for life born from silence. I mean, wow.
But the encounter with the old man at the rest stop.
That's the part that just gives you chills, isn't it?
You still have the reed. You just forgot the clay. How could he possibly know?
Was it just a bizarre coincidence? Or was it somehow part of the message? A continuation of the dream in waking life? It really makes you wonder.
It certainly seems to have given Kevin a new focus.
Mm-hmm.
Writing these ancient stories he feels are coming through him.
Yeah.
His belief that some dreams are messages from lives we haven't lived yet, or ones we left behind. A powerful idea, this journey through time, not just space.
Definitely.
Okay, our third account. This takes us to Cairo, Egypt. Layla Nasser, a 21-year-old archaeology student.
Mm-hmm.
And her dream didn't just give her a story, it actually seems to have redirected her entire academic path. Not towards gold, but something else entirely.
Something deeper.
Exactly. Here's Lila's story. When people hear I study archaeology, they always ask the same thing. Are you hoping to find treasure? And I usually laugh, say something cute like, only the kind you can't sell. But the truth, I didn't get into this for gold or mummies. I got into it because of a dream. A real one. The kind that makes you sit up in bed and check your hands for sand. It started just after my first semester. I was drowning in exams, half convinced I'd made a huge mistake. Everyone else in my class seemed to already know ancient Egyptian by heart, while I still mixed up cartouches with scarabs. I almost switched majors. And then, I had the dream. In it, I was someone else, but also somehow still me. I was standing at the edge of the Nile. Not the Nile, not now, the old Nile. When the gods still walked and the winds still carried their names. The river shimmered like liquid obsidian under a lavender sky. Around me, tall papyrus reeds whispered secrets, and I was barefoot, always barefoot in these dreams. I knew, without knowing how, that I was a servant girl in the court of Pharaoh Mentuhotep, the Second Middle Kingdom, somewhere around 2000 BCE. But I wasn't just any servant. I was trusted, respected. I was the caretaker of a tomb, not royalty, not priesthood, but someone who guarded the space between the living and the dead. My job was to clean the halls, brush dust from the walls, tend to the statues and sacred items. It was silent inside, but not empty. One day, maybe my third or fourth in the dream, I noticed something odd. A sound, faint, like wind, but too melodic. It came from deeper in the tomb where the air thickened and no one was allowed to go. The place where the walls whispered in paint and the eyes of the gods watched you from stone. I followed the sound. There was a wall, blank, unmarked, but warm to the touch, almost pulsing. I pressed my hand against it, and it crumbled like dried leaves. Behind it, a hidden chamber. Inside stood a single alabaster sarcophagus, surrounded by what looked like musical instruments, harps, flutes, drums made of wood and gold. There were no hieroglyphs, just one symbol on the lid, a circle with a dot in the center like an eye, or the sun. The music grew louder, and then stopped. The air shifted. I felt something behind me. When I turned, the sarcophagus was open, and I saw myself inside it. I woke up gasping, my mouth full of sand, or so it felt. I had fallen asleep on the floor of the library, face down on an old atlas. My hands were shaking. The dream clung to me like fabric in the heat. That morning I skipped class and went to the Egyptian Museum instead. I wasn't even sure what I was looking for, just something. I ended up in the Middle Kingdom wing, and that's where I saw it. A harp. Unusual. Taller than most. Made of cedar, with delicate mother-of-pearl inlays. The plaques that had been found near Deir el-Bahari were meant to Hotep II was buried. And right at the base, that same symbol, a circle with a dot. My legs almost gave out. I couldn't explain it. I still can't. But I knew that harp was from the chamber in my dream. I could feel it in my chest. That night, I wrote everything down, every detail I could remember. I turned it into a theory paper for class, half expecting to fail. Instead, my professor asked me to join his field team. We're going to Deir el-Bahari next month. And he said, there's a rumor about an undiscovered chamber. You might be onto something. I don't know what we'll find. Maybe nothing. Maybe a buried wall or a cracked sarcophagus or just more sand. But I do know this. There's a song beneath the sand. And I think it remembers me.
The atmosphere in Lila's dream, being this trusted servant girl in Mentuhotep II's court, ancient Egypt. The sensory details are so strong that liquid obsidian Nile, the whispering papyrus.
Yeah, you really feel like you're there. The silence in the tomb.
Exactly. It's a complete immersion. And then the discovery following that faint music.
To a hidden wall that's warm, pulsing. That's such a strange detail.
It really is. And behind it, the chamber, the instruments, the sarcophagus, and that specific symbol, the circle with a dot.
And the climax, seeing herself inside the open sarcophagus, that's chilling.
It raises so many questions about identity, doesn't it? Is it her past life? Is it symbolic? Some kind of deep connection across millennia.
And then the bridge to reality. That immediate urge to go to the Egyptian museum, finding that harp found near Mentuhotep II's site with the exact same symbol on it.
That's the moment, isn't it? The tangible proof, the direct validation of this incredibly specific dream detail in the real world.
It's stunning. And it had real consequences for her.
Right. Turning it into a theory paper, her professor taking it seriously, actually asking her to join his field team, going to that very location.
Deir el-Bahari.
Yeah.
Well, there's apparently a rumor of an undiscovered chamber. It's like her dream isn't just a memory, it's become a map.
Guiding her actual life, her studies, her future. It's extraordinary.
And her final thought, there's a song beneath the sand. And I think it remembers me. It just hangs in the air, this idea of a living connection to the past. So,
yeah.
Okay, 3 incredible stories. Linda's future vision, Kevin's Sumerian past, Lila's ancient Egypt. What do we make of all this? Are they just, really vivid dreams with weird coincidences?
Or is there something more going on? And that's where someone like Max Westerly comes into the picture.
Right. Tell us about him.
Well, Max Westerly is an author, a blogger. He's spent years researching things like lucid dreaming, manifestation, quantum jumping, the nature of reality itself. And he offers this framework that suggests these experiences might not just be random brain activity, but maybe interactions with time itself. He talks about mental time travel.
Mental time travel. What does he mean by that exactly?
The basic idea is that our consciousness isn't strictly limited to the present moment, that it can somehow access or perceive other points in time, past or future. And he also mentions quantum jumping, this concept that maybe our minds can even shift between, parallel realities or timelines.
Okay, that's a big idea.
It is. And Westerly claims his own life was completely transformed by developing these kinds of skills. He even says he's had multiple precognitive dreams, visions of major world events that then actually happened.
Wow. So for him, this isn't just theory.
Apparently not. He seems convinced that time travel, in this mental sense, is real. And crucially, he believes it often happens unintentionally through dreams.
Ah, okay. So he specifically says mental time travel allows us to access other time periods, and that many people often view the past or the future unintentionally via dreams.
Precisely. And that connects directly back to Linda, Kevin, and Lila, doesn't it?
It really does. Linda's vision of the ship in the future, Kevin's journey back to Sumeria with the reed, Lila finding that song in ancient Egypt.
If you look at them through Westerly's lens, they start to look less like random, bizarre dreams and more like potential examples of exactly what he's describing, unintentional mental journeys through time.
Where information or maybe even experiences from other eras are somehow bleeding through into their sleep.
Yeah. It provides a kind of framework, a possible explanation, however strange it might seem, for these otherwise inexplicable experiences.
So the question for you listening is, could these profound, genuinely life-altering dreams be what Max Westerly is talking about, real mental journeys across time? It definitely makes you reconsider what might be possible, right?
Absolutely. These stories, they aren't just entertaining anecdotes, they represent personal journeys that fundamentally challenge our everyday understanding of reality, of time as a straight line. They hint at maybe a deeper layer of connection, a way we might access knowledge or experiences far beyond our normal waking lives.
It really makes you wonder, Linda chose to create to fight the silence. Kevin is channeling these ancient feeling stories. Lila is literally going to dig for a song she somehow remembers. It begs the question, what hidden messages, what forgotten stories might be waiting within your own dreams? Could the past, or even the future, be closer, more accessible than we think?
It's a provocative thought.
Definitely something to ponder. We hope this deep dive encourages you to keep exploring those hidden depths of consciousness that these stories reveal.